evening, depends on when you watch the video, to this week's video tutorial. Before you get started, I've just noticed a mistake. That should say Blast from the Past 5, but there is a Blast from the Past on Microsoft Forms for you to complete, so please have a go at that now. Pause your video and I'll see you in a few more minutes. Okay, so this week's tutorial is about audience and purpose of graphics. Hopefully what we'll be able to go through is what is an audience and what is purpose. We've gone through a little bit of this in class already, but I know some of you are still struggling with certain aspects of it, so I wanted to just clarify a few extra details. Where does this fit in? Well, in your coursework elements, it fits into the LO1 category, which is understand the purpose and properties of digital graphics. So I've only put Mark Band 2 and Mark Band 3 in because I hope everyone's going to aim for Mark Band 3, which is demonstrate a thorough understanding of how different purposes and audience influence the design and layout of a digital graphic. So it's all about how much detail you can put in to persuade the reader that you fully understand the purpose and who the graphic is aimed at. So for an audience, we need to consider each of the following categories. Age. So there's 6 categories we need to consider. Age is one of the 6. So be sure that you understand fully who the graphic is aimed at. It can be a range of everybody, or it could be a smaller category. It could be younger children, students in school like yourself, 18 to 40, 40 plus, but try and make sure that you understand who it's aimed at and be able to justify that reason. Second one is gender. Who is it? Who's it aimed at? Is it aimed at a male audience, female audience? Is it aimed at both audiences? But also consider the transgender audience as well. Try not to offend everybody or anybody in what you're doing. Be considerate. Then we've got ethnicity. We're a multicultural society, so the effect of graphics on different ethnic groups should be considered. Ethnic groups can be defined as a group of people that have a common background or culture, whether through race, religion, or language. So when we create graphics, we have to be sure that if we put any text or any images on there, that it's not going to offend anybody. So we have to be considerate of every ethnicity group around. Location. Sometimes graphics can be described as local, national, or international. Think about the use of logos such as McDonald's, Nike, Adidas. They're more of an international type graphic because they appeal to a global audience. But local, you could think Bolsover Castle. It's just a local thing for local people, but other people from possibly across the nation can come to it. Even the local shops that you don't see anywhere else, they will be classed as location to be local to the people who are going to use it. The use of digital graphic might target one of these groups more than the others, such as an advert for a small local music event compared with a post for a national music festival. So think about the content, think about who's going to be viewing the article. Income. It's something we don't often consider. As students like yourself, you don't often think about where money comes from. Yes, the bank of mum and dad, but you have to be careful. When you're advertising something for whatever type of event, whatever you're trying to sell, if you're aiming it at younger people, you have to think about how much things are going to cost. So make sure you target the correct price range. People have different incomes, so cost is a huge factor. Some people, money is no object. Other people struggle. So make sure you are familiar with this concept to make sure that your graphic gets to the right audience. Last one is accessibility. Is what you're planning to do accessible to your audience? If you're aiming it at everybody, make sure that it can include people with disabilities, whether they're blind, You might think, how can I do a post for a blind person? Well, you could add Braille to it. You could add it into almost like a touchscreen thing where it can read the text out to people. It might be it's a radio advert. So make sure that accessibility is key to making sure that your graphic gets to the right people and everybody can access it. Okay, so the purpose of graphics. We've talked about the audience, now looking at the purpose. In other words, what it's going to be used for. So for every piece of graphic, you will need to consider one or all of the following. So, is it going to inform people? Is it going to educate people? Is it going to entertain? Is it going to advertise? Or is it going to promote? You might think advertise and promote are very similar. They are, but they are slightly different also. So, the purpose of graphics, you've got to think about what is the aim? What is it expected to achieve? What are we trying to get across? So to inform, we're telling people, we're giving knowledge or information about something. Could be anything. Examples of these are posters, leaflets, instructions. For example, you might buy a new device, TV, Xbox, console, whatever it is, and instructions are there to help you set it up. So think about, are they good enough to read, or are they a little bit, could be better? If they could be better, what could you do to improve them? We've got educate, to teach, to train or inform somebody how to do something. This is closely related to informing, but with a clear objective. For example, the achievement of a qualification or anything that aids learning, like what you're currently doing now. We try to educate you in the right way to do something so that hopefully in a few years' time, you'll have all those skills and knowledge and information to take it forward and get the best out of it. Next one, entertain. Hold the attention of someone. Give them entertainment. Examples of comics, any still graphics that are used in games, maybe something that is an animation that's created for a movie. Who knows, but can you hold the attention of somebody by creating a good graphic? Advertise, a form of communication that ideally appeals to consumers, emotions, and persuades them to purchase your product or service. If you're wanting somebody to buy something, you've got to get the message across correctly, otherwise it won't get sold. This is a very large market for graphics and found in many formats such as magazines, newspapers, vehicles, posters. It could also be on websites as well. The last one is promote. Typically a short-term marketing strategy like buy one get one free, or it might be 20% off this week, and you have to think about what promotions are going on. As I say, short-term, not long-term like the previous one. It closely relates to advertisements, which can be broader in scope to promote things such as healthy eating, so the 5-day campaign, typically connected to other purpose to advertise, inform or educate. So they all link together, but can you tell the difference? So there's a series of questions on Show My Homework for you to complete related to this week's content. I've given you 3 images. I want you to talk about the purpose of the graphic, the audience. Each graphic could have one or more. So try and identify which goes into it and do your best. But please explain your answers, discuss it. I don't just want one sentence answers. So that's it for this week. Hope to see you soon, maybe in September.